Well, good morning. It's Thursday, July 9th. It's time for our E-Free Church morning check-in. Now, all this week, and it's going to go over into next week, we're looking at Jesus' words on prayer from the Sermon on the Mount. And today, we get to the Lord's Prayer. Now, the last 2 days, we saw two principles, that the goal of prayer is intimacy, not influence, and that the goal of prayer should be quality more than quantity. Now, today and through the next several days, we're going to see Jesus' prayer. We often call it the Lord's Prayer, the prayer he taught his disciples how to pray using. Now, a couple of things to understand about this before we get going. First of all, please understand that in this, Jesus is teaching us how to pray, not necessarily what to pray. Does that mean it's wrong to pray the Lord's Prayer verbatim? No, it's not wrong at all if there's meaning with it. But he's not saying when you pray, just say these words. It's deeper than that. He's giving us a model to follow. Remember, he just said, don't pray using meaningless repetitions. In fact, nowhere in the New Testament do you ever see anybody repeating this prayer verbatim. Again, nothing wrong with that if there's meaning to it. Now, you can divide this model into two parts. The first half deals with God. Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done. The last part deals with us. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. Do not lead us into temptation. So we're going to take those parts and we're going to take 1 day on each of them. There's 6 parts. And we're going to see 6 elements that should be in our prayer life. That's going to begin with tomorrow morning's check-in. This is just an introduction. So here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to read this prayer every day. Matthew chapter 6, beginning in verse number 9, going through verse number 13. And for our prayer this morning, let me just read this prayer. Again, nothing wrong with praying this prayer verbatim if there's meaning and you're not just doing meaningless repetition. Here's how Jesus taught his disciples to pray. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. And all God's people said, amen. Wouldn't it be great if all of our Facebook friends heard that prayer today? It can happen. Just share it on your Facebook page. And tomorrow, for our next morning check-in, Friday morning check-in tomorrow, we'll look at the first part of it. We're going to call it adoration. So we'll see you at 7:30 tomorrow morning for another E-Free Church morning check-in.